Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Brits. Happy Brexit again. Are you upset about Brexit? Call 00800. I don't know. Is that what this whole episode was about? It was supposed to be about mental health. Yes, I wanted to call that number after Doctor Who Series 11 and Series 12. I'm feeling a little sad too. Welcome everyone in the chat. Those of you who still give a crap about Doctor Who, because it is truly Doctor Who cares at this point. Interest in this show has fallen off a cliff. And the only people watching it are the diehards, the Jody bots, the Rainbow Hate Mob. And
they love me. They're awesome.
Yeah, they do. And by the way, great avatar.
Yes.
I love it.
So,
Yes.
so Professor Tinkles is a one-off for this week, but yeah, he's saying hi.
So, can you go negative on Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, you can't. If you could, this show would manage it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think if you vote half a star, as far as I know, that doesn't count. I think it has to be 1 star to I don't know, to be honest. And this contradicts everything that those of us are accused of. I have never voted on Rotten Tomatoes ever, so I am not one of those audience user things. I just laugh at it. Oh yeah, and oh yeah, Gary, about your message earlier. Yeah, we're not allowed to seek professional help because according to modern BBC, we are the problem. So yeah, we need to run off and die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll get right on that. I'm working on it right now. I figure, a couple more decades, maybe 3. I had to try a rough life early on. So of course we have the great Bulls Trek here and Starry-Eyed Girl, or the third female doctor played by Starry-Eyed Girl. And we are here to cover Doctor Who episode 7 of series 12, since this is the UK version of the live stream. Can you hear me? Or yes, it's Can You Hear Me? And it was the power of 3 mixed in with an after school special. This was written by 2 people, right? I wrote down her name and I left my notes. Oh, here they are. So I wrote down her name, and this was the basically the children's school soap opera writer, the after school special writer. What was her name again?
Her name was
Charlene James.
Yes.
Charlene James and Chris Chibnall. So you could tell that Chibnall wrote the sci-fi bits, and then Charlene wrote the mopey after school special bits, and they just pushed them in, and it had an ending the same as far as resolution goes and how quickly they resolved it as Power of 3. They just were missing an arbitrary countdown clock this episode.
Did anybody notice how just tonally off this entire episode is? And also one thing that I noticed right before we went live, so we've been talking about this little thing called the diversity and inclusion strategy. So we were watching the episode, and aside from Graham, Ian Gelder, who plays what's his face, the guy Zelen. So he was on Game of Thrones, so fine actor. But here's the thing: he's gay. So this is the first episode where, as far as I can tell, the entire guest cast adheres to the diversity and inclusion strategy.
I think, yeah. That might be a record, actually. They ticked off every box in the first 5 minutes last episode. So yeah. Well, good for them. And I mean, I don't know how things work over in the UK. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Starry-Eyed Girl. But for PBS, which is kind of the closest thing we have to the BBC, they get grants for programs. If we do a program on mental health, for example, they'll get some kind of a grant to produce it. So it just felt that way. I don't know. It probably not. It probably get, they get enough money from extorting the fine people over there in the UK for paying for this.
Yes, I'm paying for this.
Yes, you were. And wow, it was just boring. It was boring. It wasn't like really filled with, they had to point out when they were in Aleppo, Syria in the beginning, Doctor had to point out how amazing their mental health care was in the 14th century.
Oh yeah, it was a wonderful time to be alive. Just great with that 20-year life expectancy. Yeah, they had other things to worry about rather than I'm feeling depressed today.
What did they do? Ask you questions before they drilled holes in your head? Or I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And maybe it was very cutting edge back in the day. So yeah, they go back. They end up in Aleppo, Syria, where there's like a werewolf creature killing a bunch of women in a hospital. It was women, by the way. It was all women, and I guess this was controlled by a dream. There was so much going on and nothing going on all at once. It was incredible. And then we roll to the credits. And yeah, that was pretty much it. We rolled to the credits. And we have Yaz, Ryan, and Graham were left at home by the doctor in the beginning. She said she'll be back in a few minutes. And they went home, and we see Yaz talking with their sister, talking about some anniversary of something 3 years ago. They missed mom and dad. They came home hours late. She was surprised her sister was actually cooking. I didn't know what this had to do with anything. And then Ryan goes home to his boyfriend's house. I mean, I like his best friend, and
we'll find out.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. And again, he's been gone for a while, and his friend was feeling a little down because he was having nightmares. And then we had Graham going to play cards with his mates, and he gets a vision of a woman imprisoned between planets or something, and we don't know at this point. And then the doctor immediately gets bored. The first female doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, gets bored and takes off. She ends up in Aleppo, Syria. This is after the dream guy made it inside the TARDIS. We find out why. I was like, not anybody can do this, but there's a big name drop in this episode, but that's about as far as it goes. They seem to want to mention stuff, guys, but they don't want to go there. Like mentioning the toy maker, the celestial toy maker, and the Immortals and the Guardians and stuff, the Guardians. And but that's it. They just kind of breeze past it and don't give people what they want, but they'll probably screw it up anyway. And then Yaz mentions, it was funny when she was talking to her sister. She says, I've been around the world. I've been here, been there. I went to California. She didn't say America. She said California, which is actually funny because the first time I went to Europe, people always said, "Oh, mention you're from California, not from America." And this was the first time I've been there. It was during the Gulf War when I went there. So they're like, "Oh, Americans aren't really welcome there right now." And I don't know, whatever. I felt fine. I wore a Captain America shirt, as a matter of fact, walking around Europe that year, and I had no problems. So yeah, she mentioned she's been to California, and there's just a lot of people sitting around tables and being mopey and talking about their feelings. It's like a CW show.
Yeah.
Let's also not forget, Chibs rips off at least 3 episodes in this one. So it's a ripoff of Amy's Choice. It is a ripoff of Vincent and the Doctor, and Chibs ripped off himself, which always makes the top 5 list of worst New Who episodes prior to Series 11. The Power of 3.
Yes. Yeah. The Power of 3. Remember the guys with the cubes in their mouths?
Yep.
That meant nothing.
Yeah.
It took. My God. What was the bad guy in that one again?
Oh God, it was so forgettable.
Shakira went. Shakira. That was it, not Shakira.
Yeah. I forgot. I thought the concept was good, and they just didn't do anything with it. But that's
Well, weren't they to do with dreams? This would have been a really good opportunity to have, revisited it. But
no.
Let's do something else.
we did get some message. So they just go meandering basically after this. They realize something's going on. People are seeing something in their nightmares. Yeah. Okay. The most pointless part of this is Yaz keeps going to this road out in the middle of nowhere where she's standing in between her sister and a cop. And you think they're setting up some kind of maybe one of her siblings died and she feels responsible for it. No. It's as intricate as that or sophisticated. It's really stupid. The resolution of that is just ridiculously. Oh my God. My eyes rolled in the back of my head and then fell out my ears, and I had to pick them up, and it was terrible.
3 years later, she's the bestest cop ever.
Oh my God. Yeah. Who just doesn't work. They didn't even mention that maybe that girl was the inspiration for her being a cop. Did they kind of insinuate that, or
I think that
I think they were trying to do that, but it didn't come across. It was a failed attempt at subtlety. Well, they can't do subtlety, no matter which direction it's pointed in.
Yeah. And so the immortal, we find out it's an immortal, and his fingers come off and they stick in your ear and they suck your dreams out, and they feed this immortal who's trapped in between planets. And we find out it's a couple of immortals playing games with these two planets, setting up, they start war on each planet, and then eventually they get the two planets warring with each other. Then the two planets figure out that they are being oppressed by their masters, and they turn on them and they imprison one, and the other one runs away. Of course, they imprison the more powerful one, which is of course female, and then the male runs away. They did portray another little boy, which is weird because they always have little girls in Doctor Who now. And he was scared during a nightmare. The men were the vulnerable ones. Yaz was just sad because she was bullied in high school. So that thing she was revisiting all the time was just her running away from school for a day because she was getting bullied. I bet you can guess.
We know who it was.
Yes. And yeah, it just, instead of being, I thought they were maybe leading into something interesting, like these immortals would, I don't know, create the one Cyberman or something. Because remember that, because I'm trying to rush through this, it was so stupid. So these two planets end up sacrificing themselves so they could trap this one immortal. And they were basically, the one who ran away was using human nightmares to feed the other one to eventually lead the Doctor there to break the quantum lock to let her out. Then they go to Earth and they sit there and monologue for about 5 minutes going, we're going to feast, or we're going to take our time. And we need to create something in their nightmares so we can feed for all eternity. And I thought it would be something interesting, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And the Doctor arrives with the fam and the girl from Aleppo, and her werewolf that she made in her mind, she got control of it because she conquered her fear. And they trap the immortals back into that quantum lock in between planets, and they're there for all eternity. They mentioned the toy maker. We do get the fam all gets trapped at one point, and they go into these little dreams, and they see all their worst nightmares. And Graham is afraid his cancer is going to come back. Yaz ran away from home because she was bullied. That's like the worst thing that happened to her. I mean, really? She's had a pretty good life over there in the UK. Then if that's the worst thing that's happened to her. And Ryan is afraid he's going to lose his best friend if he's gone too long with the Doctor. So I think we're setting something up there, and we can talk about that in a second. The Doctor gets to see the timeless child again. That's the only thing. We get a master voiceover real quick, and we see the timeless child, who is a little girl standing in front of a building. Which we can speculate all day long on. It's probably going to be something like, the Time Lords stole something from, oppressed somebody, something. It'll be something like that.
It's the original Doctor. That's where it's going. I would bet money on that.
Yep. I really don't want that to be right. And that's it. It all ends. Graham tries to have a serious talk with the Doctor, and she blows him off. But there's like the one opportunity for Jodie to have a dramatic moment, and she just kind of slinks off. And what did you call it? She did a Matt Smith impression this time.
Yeah, it was the oh god, I'm already blocking this episode from my head. But it was the near the climax where it's I'm the Doctor, I'm tough. Well, here's one thing where I think this episode really demonstrates how incapable she is of playing the Doctor, because one of the things that makes this a tonal mess, other than the themes, is you have scenes with I'll just call him Finger Dude. Yeah, you have scenes with Finger Dude that almost could be scary, because we were were chatting while we were watching this.
Yes.
And there were some scenes where I'm like, okay, you know, this could almost be scary. And then they cut to the doctor, and it just ruins it. It just takes you out of that moment. Oh yeah, and we forgot to mention that that story time sequence. Just out of, I'm assuming they ran out of their budget. Yeah.
The animation, yes, that's a good point. I even had it written down. I'm sorry.
I really thought that I was having an hallucination, and I had to text Bolstrack. I said, "Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" Because I just couldn't believe.
In the middle of Doctor Who, you know what? It was kind of like if you've watched Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, when they start telling that story, and all of a sudden it goes animated on you, you're like, what the hell? But this is worse. So when they're telling the story, the two immortals, you know, getting the planets, basically pitting the planets against each other, it goes into this weird Adventure Time freaking animation. It's like, what the hell? A stick figure.
It really does.
Yeah. I was like, what? I know they were trying to be cutesy pie. And I'm sure the Tumblr crowd was like, oh my God, I love that animation. I so want to buy that. Just at Hot Topic. And no, it'll probably be on a shirt for some Tumblrina out there, and the Jody bot, they'll love it. But yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. And the thing is, this is them trying to improve. Like, series 12 is better than series 11. I'll freely admit that. This is probably the best they can do. Even when you are again left with, if you take out a lot, and there was political correctness and identity politics sprinkled throughout this entire episode. So I'm not going to even say it wasn't there, because it was. It's just like, we're so used to it now. It's almost predictable.
It's background noise.
It is.
Yes.
And we're just left with meh. And it felt like a filler episode. Again, this is 10 episodes. You have 10 episodes. So she has a reduced count. And you have filler. They weren't even talking about this episode. The entire week, they were talking about the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what this one was called until you said. I never noticed.
It's called Can You Hear Me? The answer is nobody cares.
No. The ratings for this one are going to be bad. Especially the iPlayer rating. I don't know if anybody's going to want to feel the need to see this one. I think we're just waiting to get to the end and get to this timeless child, and there'll be a cliffhanger, and then you have to wait 16 months and then another year, and maybe we'll get another Doctor. And that's what I think. And yeah, the episode, it wasn't the worst series 12 episode. I don't think it wasn't. It was very forgettable. As a matter of fact, Bolstrack is already forgetting about it, and I will have forgotten about it in a couple hours. And kind of the same goes for Star Trek Picard too. And it's just watching these two franchises crap out together and just fade away. And you know, apathy's already kicked in with the Doctor Who fandom. Listen, fans out there, stop. The ones who still like this stuff, just stop. You're in freaking denial if you do not think this show is dying, because it is dying. So you better get to that realization right now. Like, this is not going to continue. The BBC can collect all the fucking I'm going to cuss all the licenses fees they want. If people stop watching and you're not selling merchandise and people just don't care, they're going to take their money and spend it elsewhere. They're going to lose their asses giving Jodie another season and Chris Chibnall. You have your opportunity right now, BBC. Pull the plug on this shit.
Yep.
Give her a couple specials. Send her on her way. You have this. I mean, if you don't do this right now, then off into obscurity. That's your future. Yeah. We've been trying to tell you. For a couple years now. If you don't want to listen, fine. We'll just sit back and say I told you so. And you know what? And we all lose. We all fucking lose, because we want Doctor Who to be good. And we're not asking you to make it like a freaking right-wing show. I'm so fucking tired of that narrative. Shut the hell up. Okay. Yep. Because none of us want it to be right-wing or left-wing. We want it to be neutral. We want it to be for everybody. And right now it's just bad.
We just want a good story. Just one. Just at this point.
God,
well, so remember a few weeks ago, as early or as recently as January 1st, and I said this in a few videos, I think we all did. We're like, maybe things will be better in 2020. maybe this is the beginning of the end of crap. Well, let's see. What do we have? We have Star Trek and Doctor Who, and maybe this is just the universe making fun of geeks, but these two things had to be on at the exact same time, and we're watching the end of everything. Now, this series of Doctor Who is not as bad as Series 11. I'll give you that. But Series 11 did not completely eviscerate canon and everything that the show stood for.
Yep.
And with regards to Star Trek, one thing that I was saying, which now no longer applies, is I was thinking that Star Trek was the one franchise out of everything that's been destroyed that might have been able to have been saved after Star Trek Discovery. Now that they've destroyed Picard and they've essentially wrecked what I'll call Star Trek proper or real Star Trek, there's no coming back for Star Trek either. So we have witnessed the final nail in the coffin of two of the biggest. Star Wars would be the third one. So and Star Wars is kind of done as well, but that's a whole other story. But within the course of weeks, we've watched two franchises, one that's been around since 63, one that's been around since 66, just destroy themselves beyond the point of no return. So, and then we have Birds of Prey capping it off. And I don't know, did you guys see the tweet Drinker just put out? He's actually seeing it, and there's him and two people in the theater.
Oh, yes, I did. I saw that. I was there opening night, and there was 7 other people in the theater with me.
And you're in
First
San Francisco.
Yeah.
You're saying it's the one theater that has free parking that's normally sold out for. That's sad.
So I that 33 million it said it brought in, bullshit. Bullshit. That is a lie. There's no way, unless everybody's paying $25 for a ticket, which that's it. But no, we're at this point now. We got Star Trek and Doctor Who failing concurrently. They have their deniers out there. People listen. With Star Trek Picard, people will come along. We'll all see you around the 7th episode. I listened to the same thing when Star Trek Discovery Season 1 was on. This is almost identical. People are going, it's good. You don't know what you're talking about. It's Star Trek. And by the end of Season 1, now 2 years later, even the people who are liking Picard, who were liking Star Trek Discovery, are now saying they don't like Star Trek Discovery. So we'll see you there in a couple of years. And same here, same thing with Doctor Who. It's like, get over your hypnosis. It's not good. This isn't the future. And even if you like this, you can't call it good. It's at the very best to people who like this. They have to consider this mediocre if they have any taste at all. We see the numbers. I mean, we're not making this shit up. We're not spinning it. Actually, they are. And you can't be saved with your consolidated numbers anymore. Because I've poked holes in that argument all day long. And even now, oh my God, what's the baby face YouTube? What's the YouTuber his name is Babyface?
I was actually just about to bring that up. I'm just trying to find my original tweet. But what's and this is actually in terms of analysis and logic, one of the best videos I think I've seen on Doctor Who. And God, my Twitter's been a mess this week, so I'm just trying to find the original tweet. But what that told us is the iPlayer is not saving this show, and I think Gary, you had tweeted up the ratings as well. People are not watching this after broadcast. It's the handful of us that do watch it. I found the chart, but I can't find the video. Somebody in the chat, if you saw the video, just let it. Oh wait, no, I got it right here. Oh no, that was a Picard live stream. My Twitter is a disaster, but somebody in the chat just wants to mention who the YouTuber. It's actually a large YouTuber, but what we learned from this video is heels versus babyface.
Yes.
But what we learned from this is if you look at past seasons, and actually this video is, in terms of logic, this video is brilliant.
Yeah.
And he was comparing this series to where Peter Capaldi was at the same time in his run. And the overnights were still not good for Series 2, or I should say Series 9, which is his equivalent of Series 12. But they were still above this, and he was still getting millions of viewers on iPlayer, which means there was still a fan base that was looking to catch this up after the fact. He also looked at Series 10, which is where the show completely imploded. in terms of the overnights, but they were still getting several million viewers on iPlayer. Compare that to Jodie Whittaker. It's there we go. So if you compare that to Jodie Whittaker, compare just the
Oh, go on.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, just compare what she's getting in terms of consolidated, which includes iPlayer. Lucky if it's just a little over 1 million. So people are not tuning into this, and it shows it. And if you look at the total graph from series 11 going to series 12, it is like the Titanic. Whereas previous Doctor Who seasons and all of them, you had the bounce back and forth between ratings. From the beginning episode, from The Woman Who Fell to Earth, the ratings have gone up slightly twice. Once for Resolution because it was a New Year's special, and once for the episode that destroyed Doctor Who canon with our friend Joe, which that went up slightly, largely because there was the rumors that Captain Jack was going to come back, even though he was obviously oblivious to what he was appearing in. And there were rumors that something big was going to go down. And what's really funny is last week, their gymnastics and everything else made no difference. It went back down to 3.97. I would be surprised if the consolidated gets over 5. I'd say 4.75. I could be wrong, but 4.75 might be the best they can hope for. This week, I could be wrong, but I could predict it could be as low as 3.5.
I think it could. And it's not just that, guys. It's on the night. People are tuning in and watching whatever's before. They're watching Country File, tuning out of Doctor Who, and then returning for Call the Midwife, which is on straight after. You can't spin that.
Well, there's something that actually I think it was last week that's really symbolic because I caught the end of Country File. So it destroyed Doctor Who in the ratings. Did anybody happen to notice where they were filming? Dungeness. The locations for the Claws of Axis. So if you want something symbolic, I can't think of any better example than that.
I didn't notice that. Oh man! All I know is if I was watching Country File, I'm like, you guys are watching this dude with the Sherlock Holmes hat planting trees. There's more people. I mean, like, you guys watch that shit over there? Nah, it's cool. It was perfectly lovely. It was perfectly lovely. English countryside. I love that. I'm like, God, there's shit you guys watch over there. What the hell? I'm just kidding. Okay, so I want you guys to notice that the consolidated numbers are not in yet for episode 6. What the hell? Does it normally take this long? Maybe it does. I don't know.
It's for the consolidated. Yeah, it takes a week.
Okay.
So typically. Because the consolidated, if you look at the little side there, it says +7. So that's +7 days after broadcast. So yeah,
they should be out tomorrow then.
Well, I'm American. I can't count. So
they usually get they usually come out the following Tuesday. At least that's been the trend. Whereas you'll get the overnights tomorrow. Then they have the the +28. I think it is, which covers the month, and that's the final rating. But yeah, so it's. This is the argument that they keep using. Viewing habits have changed. Well, yes, they have. But if viewing habits have changed, then why are fewer people watching this on iPlayer than would have watched 10 years ago? That goes against your entire argument.
Yeah. They're not technically lying. They've changed. They've just gone on to another show. That's all.
Yeah, literally the show before and the show after.
Yes, about planting trees in the English countryside with the Sherlock Holmes hat on. And the fact that dude could rock that in the modern day, I was like, hell yeah. Love that guy. All right, so let's get to some super chats. But also, I want to throw out there that remember the Christmas special for this year, and it's returning on Christmas, by the way.
God,
wow.
Is it?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So it's already filmed. They already filmed it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Since the incarnation of the Christmas special, they always film those closer to the Christmas special, like within a couple of months. For them to film it this, I mean, it's obvious, it's budgetary. They don't want to bring them back to just shoot one episode, so they just did it in this block. I understand that, but I think there's something else there too. I think this is a big hint. I'm not stating anything that I'm sure people don't suspect. This is it for Jody. This is it for Chibnall. If they survive another season, I think it's going to be shortened. I could be wrong. And I think they're working on getting another doctor. I think we might even hear about a new doctor, an announcement sometime early next year, possibly, or maybe shortly after the Christmas special. There's no way this can keep going. Maybe, I could understand the first half of the season. They're like, okay, we'll ride this thing out. They might get a bump at the end, but they might not. As time goes on, people care less. And remember, everybody wants to, just like, I'm sorry, Babyface. I'm just going to call him Babyface. The other YouTuber brought up, the only thing he didn't bring up in his video, and was very analytic and good, he didn't bring up that Capaldi was on Saturday and this is on Sunday.
Yeah.
And more people were watching Capaldi afterwards. He brought up that there were like 2 million people were watching on iPlayer. Now he wasn't getting as good as overnights, but I thought viewing habits had changed and that doesn't matter as much. But apparently it did for Capaldi because they were talking about canceling the show.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let's get to some super chats here. You know what? This is the show. I get fired up because this is the show I like the most.
I'm the same.
With
it's
Star
personal.
Wars,
It is personal.
It is. And the fans have been nasty, not particularly to me, but again, to Noel. I'm still pissed off about what was sent to Noel a couple weeks ago. I don't care what Noel said. I don't know what Noel said to precede that. Doesn't matter. There's a certain amount of decorum that, never mind. It's the
internet. it's been a lovely few weeks. We're just having a great time. So Doctor Who used to be all about including everyone, and now, just take a look at mine or Noel's Twitter, and you'll see how lovely these people are.
Yeah,
it's the professionals as well. I mean, I did go at that. The guy from Doctor Who magazine who was on your Twitter, Balls Check, and that isn't acceptable.
Not at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. If you're involved with it professionally, there's a certain, you just take the high road. I mean, because they've always had to deal with that. There's always been nasty fans that they get, letters and whatever. There's a certain amount you just don't focus on because it's such a small minority. The vast majority of people, it's positive interaction, or it's us complaining about the showrunner or an actor, but not other fans. You notice, Bulls Trek only responds, and I don't talk about other fans. We've had other people make videos about us. We don't talk about them.
No,
I don't care if you like the show. I don't. I seriously don't. The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews, who always has some of the best super chats for £5. My father told me, he's always telling me what his dad said. My father told me last night that the BBC license fee is worth every penny. Is he wrong? Now, you sent me this last Friday, and the answer is yes, your dad is wrong. I respectfully say that your father is wrong. You know what? I'm a dad. I'm wrong quite a bit too. So there you go. But Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews, I love you. And he's got another £5 super chat. Says, I need the BBC to watch Six Nations rugby, because I cannot get rid of my TV license. Sorry. There is an argument to be made about the live news and the sports and stuff like that. But you know what the BBC needs to do then? Be neutral, show both sides, represent all the country. And then, what? I think people would probably back off the license thing if the BBC wasn't so partisan.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I could be wrong, but I don't know. The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews for £10. Gary, what did you think of the woke action line number during the credits? You lot do not would to learn about anything while watching TV. Just want to turn your brains off. I don't mind learning something if it's brought to me intelligently. But I'll tell you right now, the phone line, the phone number that they put at the end for mental health, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you want to tell me they presented a good, sophisticated argument for mental health, they didn't even tell us what everybody was depressed about.
No.
Ryan's friend was sad sometimes because life gets him down. Yaz got bullied in high school. I would say get over it. Yeah, I would definitely tell her to go to therapy if she is still upset about being bullied in high school when she's gone off to become a police officer
it's
and
like,
stuff.
Get over it. Well,
Yeah.
it's also compare this to Vincent and the Doctor, which was also about mental health.
Yep.
That one hit you near the end. That one,
yes, that was powerful.
Earned its statement. So, and I think, and a lot of people say that may have been Moffat's best episode. I probably put it in its maybe his top 5, definitely top 10. But look at the way this message was delivered, and good God, that was 10 years ago now. But look at the way it was delivered 10 years ago to the way it was delivered now. It didn't even earn that message, because where was the discussion about mental health? It's like, we're sad. I'm sad because I'm having nightmares. I'm like, and you could, and I have no problem with, a number being included at the end of the show. I have no problem with mental health content, but this wasn't even about mental health. This was a failed attempt at virtue signaling is what this was.
Yep.
And actually it worked backwards, because at the end, Graham really needed to confide in somebody.
Yep.
And he chose to confide in the Doctor.
And she
just she walked away because she's socially awkward. What?
So she's all about this family, but she's socially awkward. That doesn't even make sense. If you're socially awkward, why are you constantly around 3 people that you can confide in? Yeah, that was lame. That was fucking lame.
And you know what?
Blowing off the man. Doctor. The Doctor blowing off the man, fucking totally, especially when the man is vulnerable. And of course, we had to show the boy who was scared and the boy who was vulnerable. So there's always this stench of agenda behind every decision, even when they're trying to present something as real as almost. It does it a discredit. It does it a discredit when you're infecting even a message of mental health and mental health care, and it's something that seriously does need to be taken a look at, and the stigma around it. Of course, it's terrible, but when you treat it this superficially, fuck you. Basically, that's all I got to say. And bring in that number, does that make it okay? But they think it makes it okay, and that's the bullshit that we've been freaking dealing with, and that's why the writing is such crap right now, because they don't have to show anything with any depth. We have to just say she's stunning and amazing and brave, and then we just have to assume it because a character said so. We don't show it. You don't make me believe it. It's on the creative or repurposer to make me buy into this, to make me believe it, and they don't, because they don't put the work into it. This is some of the. I don't know why they're lazy. There might be a good reason. Chibnall's hands might be tied by the BBC. It might be impossible to be creative right now. I'm guessing that's probably the answer. There's so many. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this, and you have to fill out this checklist before you write a script. It's impossible to be creative under that situation. And no wonder why nobody wants to run Doctor Who anymore. Norwegian Kryptonian asked me for 20. You don't have to pay for. Norwegian Kryptonian sent me David Gilmour live at Pompeii on Blu-ray. I got it. As a matter of fact, Norwegian Kryptonian, you didn't put anything with the gift, so we'll give you props. We did put it on Instagram, so thank you, and I will watch it and enjoy the hell out of it. Watch it on my big screen TV that I never use anymore. So thank you, Norwegian Kryptonian. NK33 for $2. You aren't all watching the Oscars? LOL. No.
Wait, was that on today?
It's on tonight.
Yeah, it's on tonight.
Yeah, watch. As if their egos need to be any bigger. No, I quit watching award shows 20 years ago. I find it pathetic myself.
The last good Oscars was when they finally gave Peter Jackson and Return of the King the Oscars, when they should have won the 2 years before that too. And Ian McKellen should have. Something fell down in the back. I think there's a ghost in my room. I was recording a video yesterday, and one of my Doctor Who figures jumped off the wall. Like
you know what's happened, Gary? I believe people are trying to put a hex on us. So
yes,
we've been. I'm sure. I know for a fact somebody out there has tried to put a curse on you. You've made too many people angry. So you need to get a camcorder, one of them old ones, and you can make your own found footage documentary, and we'll call it the Nerdrotic Gets Cursed to Death by Trolls or something.
They'll get me eventually. They'll get us all. Especially because I'm a dumbass and I put my face on the screen and everybody knows my last name and I'm very easy to find.
Don't have a face. No, you're seeing my face right now. That's me.
Yes. Oh, you're such a handsome goat. Somebody emailed me and goes, "Why did you tell everybody what theater you're going to for Birds of Prey?" I showed them the tickets. I don't care. My life's an open book.
It's like doing a meetup, except nobody would go meet you there because nobody wants to pay for the movie.
No. And, the funniest thing, real quick, Friday night, I showed the tickets and I'm like, oh, look, there's only 3 tickets sold and 2 are me. The third ticket was somebody I knew.
Oh, God.
It was a guy who watches. His name is Daniel Nolan. He watches the show and everything. He's all, I was the third ticket, dude. I'm like, that's funny.
Did anybody else ever come in, or was it just
no? There were 7 people there. Again,
okay,
it was fucking ridiculous. It was so sad. There's no way it made 33 million. Come on. And the same thing's happening to Doctor Who. Nobody's watching anymore. These numbers, these are the spun the most positive way, and that's all they can do. Oh my God. In the States, it's bad too. They use the Super Bowl as an excuse. I don't think there's a ton of crossover between Tumblr people and Super Sports Ball. Mr. Body Massage Machine for £5. Great use of my license fee. You can go to prison for not paying your TV license. Once you're in prison, you can watch TV for free. Riddle me that.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, why not? You can eat for free too.
Mm-hmm.
Wayward Astronaut for $5. Have you heard the BBC turned down a Who episode pitch from Joe Hill for being an American? Frankly, I take it as being overqualified. I did hear that. Yeah,
I've heard it too.
Yeah.
I don't mind an American co-writing an episode, but it has to be with a Brit. I'm sorry. I'm gonna side with the Brits on this one. I don't want any freaking stinking Yanks putting their paws into Doctor Who. It needs to be a British show, period.
Yeah.
If they want to assist, that's fine. Not a showrunner. No.
At least that's the one thing we can say. It's still British. It's a British disaster, but it's still British in the worst possible way. Sorry, Starry.
No, you. So I agree.
We would fuck that show up. It would be terrible.
The viewers don't know about that. I actually apologized to these 2 earlier in a group chat for how bad it was. Felt responsible.
Well, look what happened when an episode was filmed in Canada. The Doctor became half human, which thank God was never heard of again. But so we had one chance and we screwed it up. That was a Canadian-U.S. destruction attempt because it was filmed in Canada, but it was on the Fox network. So, yeah, we suck. Let's never have that happen again.
I got my 8th Doctor. Came in.
Oh, that's stunning.
It's pretty cool. He's a little cross-eyed, but I like it. I'm happy with it.
I need to get some toys. Well, I'm sure I could get them all for relatively cheap now if I wanted to.
Oh, my God. The bottom is falling out for collectibles. So if you're a Doctor Who collector, go get them.
I could take them out of the package. We don't need that logo.
It's the package is gone. I tossed it. I don't even want it. And they kind of they're going cheap on their packaging now because you can tell they're not doing as well. Because they have this cardboard cut magnetic thing that surrounds the box. That's the background of a TARDIS, and they didn't use it and that's the one I wanted. I'm like, I love his TARDIS. It's my favorite interior TARDIS. But there you go. That's the one thing they got right. Jacob Hill. What do you think? And we're gonna go. We got a time limit, and let me see how many super chats we got left. I'll try to get as many as possible. We'll go for a couple more minutes because we have people have to go about their day. And again, this will get made up Monday. I'll talk about it. We'll do it. I'll make this part of the Nerdrotic Nooner. So if you want to tune in at 10:30 a.m. on Monday, I will pick up the super chats where we left off. Where was I? Jacob Hill. Jacob Hill for £10. What do you think about Chibnall urging viewers to watch the last 2 episodes live? Do you think he is conscious of the ratings and he is desperately trying to get people to watch his garbage show? Starry, didn't you send me an article and basically say this same thing in the group chat? Yes.
Yes, he's dancing around going, look at me, please come back.
No, that's exactly what's happening.
He's in the same situation as executives at DC Warner are in right now. So similar things, which we can't help but laugh. Yeah. It's like you brought it on yourself. I'm sure Warner will want to have a little discussion with Ewan McGregor after this weekend, just as an example. How many hundreds of millions of dollars did you steal? Not steal, but we can't call this theft. We can call this incompetence, and absolutely hilarious.
Paul Wilkinson says for £4.99, Alistair, I think you missed my super chat. So here's another one. Did you mean from today? Paul Wilkinson, there's nothing up there. I don't see it. Is it if it was from another day? I did a super chat square up. It's on Nerdrotic Live, and you can I hit all the super chats there. Actually, no, I did that on my Nerdrotic Nooner. I made up the Doctor Who super chats on my Nerdrotic Nooner that was just posted today, as a matter of fact, or this morning. But if you're talking about today, just answer in the chat. You don't have to give another super chat. It's not there. Sorry about that. But yesterday, or the last show episode we did when Critical Drinker was on, we were on a time limit as well. So I just had my major eye surgery, but wow, that was painful, says Michael Billington for £5.
Oh God, yep.
Scottish, thank you for the £5. I'm sorry. I hope your eye feels better. And yeah, maybe you shouldn't have watched Doctor Who. You might have to go back. Scottish Nerd for £2. Gary, basically the bad was a wet willy monster. It was a wet willy monster.
Oh God, yeah.
It was right there. How did I not see that?
Yes, it was.
Finger dude. There were, as Starry was saying while we were watching it, that could be interpreted a few ways, but
yes,
yeah, we'll try and keep this family friendly.
We'll keep it wet willy. I think that's a good place to put it.
Yeah.
Alpha Omega for £10. Is there any way possible at this point that this series can be salvaged? Maybe after a hiatus. It's good. Well, every season is after a hiatus at this point. They can't even get a regular season of television out. So yeah, I think if they regenerate it into a young dude with a young, attractive companion, it doesn't have to be an attractive doctor, quirky, fun. And you know what? They need to go popular. I would usually you want a character actor, but I think they really need something to get butts back in the seats. So whoever, I know that you guys can pick just a bloke. It needs to be a bloke. Sorry, didn't work, folks. The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews for £10. Gary's, please stop using this show to attack the license fee. The BBC makes thousands of great shows that could not exist otherwise because, unlike Who, they'd never pass a commercially viable test. You want to know why? Because they're not popular. So if they wouldn't pass the commercial, it's called meritocracy. They make a lot of shows that are popular to thousands. You're right, thousands. They need millions watching. These things are expensive.
Yep. What I think they should do is, if they remove the license fee, the BBC should be turned into a streaming service and streaming service only, and then we'll see how they perform.
Yeah,
it'd be really interesting.
Yeah, so you're making shows for thousands of people that really play hard to the base, and you're making millions pay for it. That's not sustainable. Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews, even in a semi-socialist government, you still you're dealing in a world that's primarily free market, or especially your biggest trading partner, America. That's free market, so you're still ultimately competing with that. And there's Netflix in your country and Amazon in your country, and that is eating away at the BBC. They need to compete or die, period. End of story. And they know that. That's coming. I just watched Russell T. Davies' speech on the whole thing, and he was fighting hard for the BBC, and he made some good points. Live sports, live news. HBO doesn't offer that. Amazon doesn't offer that. Netflix, but they will. Oh, they will. Netflix is getting possibly into the listen, YouTube's still the best. And those little nature shows and stuff, people can do that for nothing with a drone and a freaking and a pretty cheap camera, they can go out and do stuff that's even better. A lot of that stuff is overproduced and too expensive. Paul Wilkinson for $4.99. I sent my last super chat in error, but happy to send you anyway. I was watching another channel. Oh no. Oh, tell me who it is. I'll send them the money, Paul. Bless your heart, bud. Buzzkill $4.99. Shockery. Shockery, who were trying to prevent humanity from colonizing space. The Shockery. Thank you.
That's it.
Yes. The Kelvington for $5. This series can't end fast enough. You're right. And we got 3 more, guys. So Polish Prince for 5 Canadian pesos. After watching the show, I need to see a real doctor. Nathan Hood for $2. Problem is Doctor Who still gets 4 million. Big ratings for the UK. That Nathan, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's still 4 million people watching this. I think they're turning on their TV and they're like doing their, I don't know, freaking their nails or something.
There are a lot of people that are in denial right now.
Yeah,
just hoping to hell each week it gets better and each week it doesn't.
Yeah.
But we're I think the lowest was just below 3 million. It was during series 10. I think this might break that all-time record. And this week and next week especially are going to be very interesting.
Absolutely. I'm sorry we're going a little long here, guys, but we can finish up. We're close.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I appreciate it. Yes, I think there's a threshold that this show has to maintain, even though it's not on commercial television, but they rely heavily on the license fee. And yeah, this show can't survive on the UK watching it. They've come out and said that. They've said the ratings don't really matter that much. It's the licensing that pays for this show. And that's the TV license and the licensing to other people, China, America, HBO Max. The only reason they got another season was HBO Max gave them a bunch of money. That's going to get burned up in a season. They'll be done because they just want the streaming rights. They're not paying for actual episodes or anything.
It's obvious they've already run out of money. Let me look at the episode today. They were just stood in a street with a bit of lighting around them. It looked awful.
With like 2 extras.
It's like, no, HBO, they care about everything prior to Jodie Whittaker. That's where they'll be making their money. Nobody's and in the US and in Canada, the ratings are catastrophic would be an understatement at this point. So no, HBO, they want the previous 4 Doctors. They don't care about this.
You want to hear the sadder news? If this was a popular show, they would be fighting for this stuff. Now there's exceptions out there like Friends, which people, they'll pay crap loads of money for. And maybe HBO outbid Amazon, but Amazon didn't have the desire to keep it. No. So either way you look at it, they let it go or they didn't want to pay for it. Amazon is huge. I argue that Doctor Who was better on Netflix. More people get to watch it, and it's the reason it got popular here in America with a bunch of normies in the first place. Buzzkill for $4.99. Did they do anything with the Black Doctor, or did they just move on? They just moved on.
Yeah, just moved on.
She'll probably get brought up in the last 2 episodes, and she's probably got something to do with the Timeless Child.
Either that, or we're not going to hear from it again this series, which I could see happening. It would be the dumbest thing ever, but I could see that happening.
Oh, I do too, because the way they made it sound, if you listen to that interview, like this wasn't. It almost seemed like a reshoot. It almost seemed like a decision they didn't have at the beginning of the season. They came up with later. I could be wrong. I don't know. Wasn't there?
I think we'll see her at the end because the last episode is called The Timeless Children, I believe. So yeah, I'm thinking she's going to make a return.
I hadn't noticed that. It's Timeless Children, so it's plural?
Yep.
Oh, crap. Okay, never mind. We know exactly where that's going.
Yeah. And the first part is called The Ascension of the Cyberman, which just made me laugh. Just find a posher word of saying rise.
What's that word? McMuffin?
Do you think it was Rise? Well, no, they already did Rise. But they also don't want it to sound like Rise of Skywalker, which it might have. That would have been funny. The Ascension. the getting
extension of the
Cyberman. The standing up of the Cyberman. Oh my God. Sharon Osborne is back. Sharon Osborne has been giving me $19.99 super chats. Sharon!
Hello, Sharon. I saw you subscribed this week as well. You are awesome, my friend. Actually, and you follow me on Twitter. So all hail Sharon.
Hail Sharon. The Talons of Wang Chang for £5. The only way to stop, the only way this stops is to cancel the license fee and put the BBC on a subscription service. On a positive note, the Faceless Ones releases on the 23rd. On the 23rd.
I don't even know if that's the DVD release, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't even know if we're getting that. While you're answering super chats, I'm gonna look that up.
I'm totally looking up too. The Faceless Ones. Yeah, we'll probably get it after you. I always get it. So I'll just get it from the UK. I'll go to amazon.co.uk and just buy yours. That's what I do.
Yeah, there's a placeholder on amazon.ca, but it hasn't been released yet. So because keep in mind, in North America, Warner distributes these, and I think they took a massive hit on Series 11, which is why we're not getting these on Blu-ray, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets canceled in Region 1 altogether. So you can actually thank Series 11 for effectively ending the DVD and Blu-ray range in North America. We still get the classic series because those sell, but in terms of these, these were all supposed to be released on Blu-ray originally in Region 1. None of them were. So I have a feeling, it hasn't been announced, but I have a feeling that at least the standalone episodes have been canceled. So you can thank Series 11 for that, folks.
Yep. I am so happy. I had the store at the time when they offered that box set for the modern series during the 50th anniversary with the Sonic Screwdriver. You get series 1 through 7, all the specials, everything on Blu-ray. So, and it's worth a few bucks now. I still, man, so good. It's so good. It's got the 50th anniversary special in there. Nathan. What I did yesterday, Bulls Trek, was I fixed my, let's see, it's still got the cage over it. But so you could see in there, I alphabetized all my Doctor Who DVDs. So
you went the alphabet route.
I did. I'm anal about that. So I didn't. Well, it's alphabetized by Doctor. I'm sorry.
So okay. Yeah. No,
okay. It's alphabetized. It's easier for me to find that way instead of in order.
No. So I'd have gone chronological. That would have really bugged me.
No, I'm like that too. Well, it's because I know these episodes by heart, so it would be. It's actually easier for me to find them chronologically. But yeah, I'm an OCD, except for the Lost Years, which I don't know if you got that one, Gary, but it has the remnants of the lost episodes. Yeah, I'm so anal. Every now and then I shift that to where it is in my collection. I've actually taken it out of the box. And right now it's sitting at the beginning of the respective Doctors. Yeah, I know the OCD. I'm insane with that. And I have to keep the Blu-rays in a whole separate section so it doesn't clash with the DVDs. And I got the Blu-rays all the way up to Series 10 because that's where it ended.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same way. So the reason people are going, what? You alphabetize? So I alphabetize. I do that with my comics as well because of my Excel file. This is something that goes way back. When I had my comic store, I had like 250,000 comics in my basement, and there was no way I was gonna just get everything by title and get it in order. So what I did was I hired a bunch of people. We alphabetized everything once, and then we numbered the boxes. We entered it in the Excel sheet, and I still use that Excel sheet for this day for all my Blu-rays, all my comics, all my toys, and it has to remain alphabetized. And I just number boxes now. I've got so much crap. It doesn't matter if it's in perfect order anymore. I just need to know what's in what box. Has to be alphabetized. And I got this system where we knocked it out in a freaking like a week. 250,000 comics in a week. It's not so bad.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we had like 10 people on it. It was pretty crazy. So Yeah, back to super chats real quick. But yeah, I'm weird like that. I'm illogically anal. How's that sound? There is one good thing we all found each other, says Nathan Hood. Yes, you're right, Nathan.
Yeah,
that is true.
Absolutely right. Thank you for the £2. New NK33 for $2. Never forget cycle of diversity. They don't diverse. They don't. Chris Persia for $5 Canadian. Of course they have nasty fans. Wasn't Chibnall a nasty fan in the 80s? And then they made him a showrunner. Yeah. He was, wasn't he?
Chibnall has turned into the very thing that he used to hate.
Well, here's the funny thing. I'll be one of the last things I bring up because we're running a bit late, but it's all good because we like talking. Chibs and BBC. So the diversity and inclusion strategy doesn't mean that you can't have any white males, but they seem to be, how shall we say this, misinterpreting it because there are none.
They want extra credit.
Yeah, extra credit. Yeah, well, yeah, probably a bonus structure.
Okay.
So yeah.
Let's see if we can. Here we go. We're gonna get Cracklin. When the Doctor Who figure flew at you, did it say "Come at me, bro"? He might be salty from you pointing out the downfall of his legacy. Maybe. Andy Morley for £5. The BBC are amazingly biased. They are no longer neutral, and the radio and TV lecture continuously. Hail Nerdrotic. Hail Andy. I am so sorry that happened to you. I used to listen. The reason I got satellite radio originally back in the day is because so I can listen to BBC One here. That was the only reason I got it. I didn't care about freaking Howard Stern anymore. I wanted to hear your I even hated the music, but I liked it. I feel like I was listening to the UK. I'm that much of a weirdo about it. A ghost series called Nerd at Night. # not my TARDIS. Hail, Andrew Brown. Yeah, maybe. Thank you for the $1.99. Oh yes, and we also we did a late night Patreon live stream last night. Nicholas Horton for £5. This current cast and crew needs to permanently be exterminated and regenerate into greatness again. Ooh, I don't know if that's possible. If they get a new showrunner, maybe if they get a new showrunner who is sympathetic to us and wants to mend fences. And again, I'm not saying going extreme the other way. You really need to heal at this point. And I would say get a new showrunner, a male doctor, and just stay as fucking far away as politics as possible. Everything would take place in space. Absolutely. Do not have a single episode in the past on Earth at all for a year.
Exactly.
I mean, yet again, we're on Earth.
Yep.
Three-quarters of the episode, it's just dull.
Every episode so far, it's going to be an entire Earth season.
Nicholas Horton for £5. The new Cyber People design has the classic head design with the horrible 2013 body design. And they have spikes. Oh my God. Nicholas, you're awesome. Nicholas is just on top of everything. Thank you. Hail Nicholas Horton. Daniel for $5. What's up, my dude? I would take new episodes with the production quality of the originals over the woke propaganda middle finger of a show. I just want British sci-fi. Right. No, I don't need awesome special effects. No. That's the last thing I need with the show. I need you know where they made up for it? You guys know, of course, but like the performances, and just they were so clever. You Brits are so fucking clever.
Yep.
When you have to be forced to be creative, and it's brilliant in every way. And there was always a lesson in every show. And I don't care that they were running down the same corridor with fucking tinfoil. It didn't matter. I believed it. Paul Maxwell. Your super chat. This is the last super chat. It's being cut off. Let me see it, and then we're gonna end it right here. There it goes. Oh, and he says, "Love the show. Do you love my show or do you love this show?" I'm gonna assume you're saying you love this show. Yeah. So thank you, and we love you too, Paul Mail. Even if you love Doctor, we love you. It's not about that. Thank you for the £2. Thank you everybody for joining us. We had 2,200 people watching. That's probably more than we're watching the episode. To be honest with you,
that's true.
And
possibly yes.
We will be back live. We're going to do this the next 2 Sundays. I figured the last Sunday will go as long as we need to because we'll know and it'll be bad. But We try to keep these as short as possible. So we'll start out with Starry-Eyed Girl. Would you like to plug anything? Your Twitter?
Yeah, you can follow me at Starry-Eyed Girl, and that's I'm now the third female Doctor played by Starry.
Yes. Sorry.
And I've just done a couple more of the Type 40 podcast with Dan Hadley, so I'll shout that out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just had a talk about Praxeus. That was fun. That was cathartic.
It's good to be cathartic. It is. And thank you for joining us. And Bulls Trek, please plug yourself.
Plug myself.
Plug yourself.
I will plug it with the finger.
With the finger.
So for happiness and excitement, come join me on the YouTubes. And if you want to take part in a delightful conversation where everybody is civil, come follow me on Twitter. It's a great time over there. It's like, yeah, it's awesome. Hello, everyone. And occasionally, a talking goat takes over the channel, which he did show up this week, so he may show up again.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. And this episode will be over on Nerdrotic Live about a half hour after it's done. So if you miss it here, or hang on to the link because I just unlist it. It's part of the algorithmic BS that YouTube puts us through. They want us to live stream, but they punish us for it. So I don't know why. So please subscribe and follow these two fine people here, Bulls Trek and the third female Doctor played by Starry-Eyed Girl. And we will see you next week. So take care, everyone. And yeah, I'm sorry this show really sucks. And hey, let's see if Rotten Tomatoes does go in the negative. I guess we'll find out. All right. Bye-bye.